presentation focused on a new type of column that you presented, and so tell me a little bit more about it, Dr. Pohl.
Well, basically the technology behind the column allows for separation of neutral ionic molecules, whether they're anions or cations, and it's really the first column ever developed that's really targeting counterion analysis in pharmaceutical products.
Why is that important?
A very high percentage of pharmaceutical products have a counterion associated with them, and it's always a part of the pharmaceutical analysis process to characterize the API, to also characterize the counterion. And typically the standard methods for doing reverse phase are not very amenable to ions, so that requires a separate method. With this product, you can analyze the API and the counterion at the same time, regardless of whether the drug is basic and the counterion is an anion, or the drug is acidic and the counterion is a cation.
Is it possible then that if I had a combination drug product where I had both acidic and basic APIs, that this also could be used, where I wouldn't have to use separate methods?
Absolutely. That's one of the things we studied when we developed it, and we did a few exploratory methods before we sent it out for field testing that demonstrate very clearly that you can do multiple drugs and counterions at the same time using this method. It's certainly a versatile column that can be used for a wide variety of simultaneous assays.
With respect to versatility, I noticed in your presentation that you talk about the possibility of using the column with a method that could be either a gradient or a non-gradient method.
Yes, we developed a method for doing just the counterions, for example, that allows for analysis of 11 different counterions that are commonly used in isocratic mode, and if you want to cover a wider spectrum of roughly 85% of the counterions used in pharmaceuticals today, a fairly simple gradient can cover all of these ions with no method development required. So either method is applicable depending on the analytical requirements in the laboratory.
What do we see in the future with Dionex in development of other columns along this line or other areas?
Well, we see a number of different possible avenues this could go down. For example, there are a lot of other analytical applications where simultaneous analysis of multiple ions is important, as well as reverse phase separation. So it could be applied to a broader range of pharmaceuticals by having more than one combination of hydrophobicity and ion exchange properties, as well as for environmental applications where there are typically complex mixtures of all kinds of ions and neutral molecules.
That's a good point. The focus of the questions mostly we discussed right now were on pharmaceuticals, but I imagine you have applications in environmental analysis, perhaps some newer-based fuels, petrochemical. I guess finally, one of my areas of interest, and I think from the magazine's perspective, is many of the formulations we anticipate coming out in the future are going to be biopharmaceuticals and protein-based. Will this lend itself to those type of analyses?
The answer is yes. Actually, because of this type of material really allowed the retention of protein and peptide on the same phase. So there's really opened the door for biomolecule analysis. So this really, we haven't worked on that, but that's really in our future plan. There's a very good possibility there.
Oh, we look forward to seeing maybe some white papers coming out this year on some of the potential uses. Jingdong and Christopher, it's good to talk to you, and we look forward to seeing you next year at PITTCON.
Okay,
Thank you.